Welcome everybody to the effing title episode 20 fucking 5. I'm already starting off swearing.
That's a good number.
It is a great number. As you just heard, that is the guest of the day. The guest, she is adorable. Normally I have these written out, so I'll bear with me because I don't have this one written, so I'm just going to come off the top of my head with this. She's adorable. She runs her mouth all the time. I don't know how she hasn't lost her voice yet, but it is one of my new friends. It is, my name is Emily. Is it okay, though, if I just say M?
Yeah, I would appreciate that. That's perfectly fine.
All right, so why don't you tell the good people out there of my community who you are? Because some of them probably know you from stream, but like some of the YouTube fam may not actually know, who you is.
Yes. So I am Husky's wife's friend. For those who do not know, her name is Dana. We love her. I just started streaming back in April. Started with some Overwatch, and then recently spread my wings into horror games, Sea of Thieves, Diablo 3, and recently Marbles. And outside of streaming, I am an accountant. I live in beautiful, beautiful freaking Florida. It's great. And what else? Oh, I have 3 dogs, a cat, and a rabbit. I have a farm in my house. That's a fun fact about me. And yeah.
I mean, I hate to say, have you ever had rabbit before?
Have I ever had a rabbit before this
No,
rabbit?
no.
I've eaten rabbit.
Have you ever eaten
No.
No. Okay.
No, I've never eaten.
So
have you eaten a rabbit?
Yes, I have. so in England, you can only hunt certain things. So one of the things that my grandfather used to get was rabbit every now and then. So there was one time I remember it vividly because it was one of the first times I've ever seen a dead animal.
Oh no!
In person, and because I was hanging out with my grandfather, and suddenly the local town, the hunters basically of the town came by asking him if he wanted rabbit, and he's like, yeah, let me have a rabbit. So they just go in the back of the truck, pull up, just grab a rabbit out of the back of the truck and give it to him. And I'm I remember seeing this, and I'm just and then we had it for dinner that night. I think it was a stew. I mean, it wasn't bad if I remember right.
No, of course not. Oh yeah, I think the only hunted animal that I've ever had was deer.
I've had deer, moose, caribou. God, I've had so much. That's
Have
the
you
topic.
Ever hunted yourself?
Yes, once.
Ooh.
I went out with my dad once.
Ooh.
So of course, in Vermont's a big hunt state.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad and my grandfather go hunting a lot, once every year. It's getting to the point now when my grandfather can't hunt really. He's starting to get to that age.
Mm-hmm.
But I went 1 year with my dad, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It's so much just kind of sitting quietly, just kind of out in nature, waiting.
Oh yeah, I'm too loud for that shit.
Waiting. I was like, no. I was like, I'm good. I was like, I understand all of it. I understand all the different stuff and everything, but
Oh yeah, I'm too loud and too impatient. And if I were to ever shoot it, I would cry. I love animals, as you can tell. I mean, I have 5 of them.
Oh yeah. It's one of those things. It's a very for me, and of course this is completely a different topic for another day, but really no, for me it's one of those things where, especially around here, right? I consider it one of those things where it's not just you're hunting it and then you don't eat it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. It's not sport. It's not just for
exactly.
sport. You're doing it. Yeah.
And there's so we're hunting them, we're eating them, we're using all of them. There's as you drive into my town. On the way into my town, you will actually drive past the place where they normally are gutting and skinning and doing everything with deer.
Mm-hmm. I could not. Oh my god, I would cry.
See, that's the thing. You think that, and at first that's how you are, but then after a while, it's especially being here, and especially being around here, it's such an easy fucking thing to get involved in. But those
That's
aren't the topics for the day. The topics for the day are a little bit more cheerier than killing and eating things.
Yeah, I
I
was
mean,
gonna say then death.
I was gonna say if we can bring up killing and eating things in these, then there might be something. We might be on some sort of like watch list that I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna work out for
That's
the
what
rest
you're
of.
doing after high school. We have questions, all right?
Yeah. So everybody, the topics for today are after high school decisions, college experiences, and the ongoing series that, as Em said earlier, my stream wife Dana proudly introduced to the channel, which is My Life as a. And then we go into that. We just kind of talk about what the guest does. But so after high school decisions, I thought this one was kind of interesting. Like this is one that it's almost like I feel like this is like a taboo subject.
Yep.
Like you don't talk about it, but you need to talk about it, but you don't want to talk about it, but you need to talk about it.
I think it's a lot of people do it by themselves. They don't necessarily talk to it about like with other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think especially with my college decision, I think I'm kind of different because my mom was very, very what should I say? A proactive parent when it came to me deciding college. She was definitely like she's
She
the
was
type of
right there.
parent.
Like
Oh
right there.
yeah, oh yeah. She would tell me when I need to take my SATs. All right, you took it once. You need to take it at least 3 more times before you apply to college. How many colleges have you applied to? The due date for the application is so and so date. Have you applied yet? Like she was very
like on top of
on
it.
my journey. Yup.
Mm.
Oh dude, if it wasn't for her, I don't know. I don't even know what I would have done because your girl ain't very organized, I will say. It's not my gift.
Well, it's one of those things, and I'll say it just because it might make you feel a little better. Organization, I feel like, comes with time because especially growing up, I was terrible with organization.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like certain things are organized. I mean, like you see the setup that I have behind me.
Yeah.
Like this shit's organized to a T.
Oh hell yeah, you little figurines, I love them.
Yeah, right. You go into my if you were to go into my bedroom, you would see my DC collection, and that shit is organized from head to fucking toe.
Oh hell
But
yeah.
on the other side of this camera, however, is a fucking nightmare scape.
I was literally talking the other day about how easy it is for your desk to just get a fucking mess.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
so bad.
But yeah, so personally, my decision that I made after high school was I went and played college football.
How many offers did you get?
So that's the thing. So and this is one of the other ones that just kind of it's one of those things where people kind of don't understand the whole college football thing. So in college football, there's multiple different divisions. There's Division 1. There's Division. I'm always going to call it Division 1 AA. I don't care what the fuck it's called now. It's Division 1 AA. There's D2, there's D3, there's Ivy League, and then there's a bunch of other random ass leagues out there.
Are Ivy League like the smart schools?
So yeah, Ivy League is like Yale, Harvard, Princeton, that. So obviously your boy ain't getting into those. Like
you gotta be good. You gotta be good and smart.
Yeah, exactly. With Division, I'm trying to think because I feel like we're gonna fuck it up no matter which way I say this. For Division 3, there aren't scholarships for football. There aren't scholarships for sports.
Really?
So instead, it's one of those things.
Walk-on?
Well, no, it's not even a walk on. Like you can I went there specifically to play football. Like I didn't give a fuck about school. Like I mean, obviously I did because I went there. But I went and I was talking to the people, and they're like, okay, so tell us some activities that you used to do that weren't involved with school. And I'm like, okay, I worked at the library for a summer, and they're like, awesome. That's this scholarship. Go on. So they just found a ton of different random ass scholarships. Like because I was the captain of track and field, I got a leadership scholarship. Had nothing to do with sports. It was just another scholarship that I could get. So kind of that's how they kind of how they backdoor it, I guess is the right way to put it.
Is that only D3? So D2 and D1 you can get.
I think it. Like that's the thing is like I don't fully remember. D1 definitely. I think it all depends on what level it is the like how many it is. But I feel like I could be wrong with that. I'm so fucking out of touch with it now these days.
Oh yeah, dude, they changed so much.
Yeah, so it's one of those things though. So like for me, for instance, I played Division 3 football, so I had no athletic scholarships. Literally, the way that it went was I went out and I went to Norwich University, which is where I went eventually. I went to St. Lawrence, which is a school up in New York. And then I went to a bunch of other random schools, which I'll actually get into college experiences with one of them because I don't remember the name of it, so it works fucking beautifully. So those are my two big schools, though. It was Norwich and it was St. Lawrence. St. Lawrence was dope. I had a great visit. I enjoyed the team. I enjoyed the coaches. I enjoyed the players there. I got shit faced. I had a great time.
Love it.
Yeah, Norwich. I went there. It felt like home to this. It's a military academy. My dad's in the Air Force, and they have a civilian program. So it was like beautiful. I can go there. I can be a civilian. I can play football. Like this just feels like home. Done. I got both letters in the mail the very same day.
Ooh.
Yep. So I gave one to my dad. I gave one to me. I opened mine up. Dad opened his up. I said, okay. I opened mine up, and it was from St. Lawrence. It said, you have not been accepted. And I was like, well, I haven't been accepted. I looked at my dad, and he goes, you have been accepted. I was like, well, I guess I'm going to Norwich. And that was it.
Easy decision.
Yep. That was the whole, And then as I've talked to my dad, recently, about this, before and, after. But basically, like, if I wouldn't have gone to play football there's a college on the hill. Literally, like, from where I am right now, it takes maybe 20 minutes to walk there, 30, if I'm really wanting to just be slow. And that's where I would have went to college.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, it was already planned. Like, everything was kind of like, it was either...
Right. Either you got the athletic stuff, or you got into these other colleges, or you just went to like your neighborhood college.
So that was my my very easy decision, really.
Mm-hmm. So mine's a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So I did play sports in high school. I played one sport. I played softball.
Okay.
I was on varsity all 4 years. I was never really I don't want to say into it because I love playing softball, but I wasn't really doing it competitively. Like I didn't do any rec leagues or anything like that.
Thank you. No Sam for the follow. Sorry, I had to. Yeah,
hey, Mason. No, it's Mason. Hi, Mason.
Yeah.
Anyways,
if I cut you off like that, just keep going. Just run right over top of me.
Fine. You're all right.
I tried to be.
So I knew like if I wanted to get into college that it was going to be based off of my like GPA and stuff like that. So I, took all the AP courses. I did dual enrollment. I graduated high school with like a 4.5 GPA.
Wow.
Fuck I think me. I think unweighted it was like 3.9.
See, I graduated with a 3.2, and I thought I was like fucking like big brain, So, Jesus.
But you see, that's where like my big thing growing up, literally for I don't even know how long was always my grades. Like I never had a C a day in my life, and like my mom sort of like that's sort of the stuff that she pushed on me from like herself. Yeah. In that you are above average, you should be getting above it, and not in a negative way. Like she never, if I were to bring home a bad grade, like she would never like punish me or anything like that. But she just knew, that I was smarter than that and I could do better than that, which is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I ever got a bad grade is either because I didn't try or I forgot the assignment, which again, goes back to the organization. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so I when it came to picking a college, I really could have gone. I don't want to say could have gotten anywhere, but my parents actually agreed to pay for my college. Okay. Within reason. And when I say that is like, if I were to go to like the community college, obviously they would have covered me there. And then like with the community college in my town, there's like a 2-for-2 program. So like you do 2 years at the community college, 2 years at a university. Mm. Well, I had decided probably either my junior year, early senior year, I wanted to go to Jacksonville University,
okay.
Which is
I was going to say, surprisingly, I think I've actually heard of that. So
it's a private school. It's a private college in Jacksonville, and
this sounds familiar.
It was very, very close to my house.
Okay.
and it was just so nice. Like I remember going there, and and another big thing before I get into that, I wanted to stay home for college because not having to pay for a dorm
Yeah.
again saves you many monies, and that was a
Mm-hmm.
big,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah. It does.
I wanted to get as much of a scholarship as I could, and save as much money as I could. So went there. Campus is beautiful. It's right on the river. The classes are smaller, so like I think the largest class size was maybe 30.
Wow.
Whereas, a lot of other bigger universities like UF, at least in Florida,
I was
like
gonna. Well,
UF,
I was gonna say
FSU,
like.
and stuff like
I
that.
mean, Norwich University is in the middle of Vermont, so small town Vermont. I think
Mm-hmm.
my biggest class had like maybe 50, maybe 60. I could be wrong with that, but that's what it felt like anyway. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
smallest class I think I ever was in was maybe 9, I want to
Oh,
say.
geez.
Yeah, the smallest class was like, there was literally one class where there was like under like 10 people almost.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome.
That is
It was
awesome.
also like my senior year, like specific to my major class.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, yeah, yeah. As soon as you get into like those
yeah.
major classes, they definitely weed out a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But like again, with JU being private, you do pay a little bit more money, and with that, they're able to have the smaller classrooms and being able to compensate the teachers accordingly, whatever. Um, and where was I going with this? So there was that. My other option was UNF, which is University of North Florida,
Mm-hmm.
which is a public college. However, like they have the like whatever, what do you call it? Is it I don't even know what to call auditorium seating.
Okay,
I
yeah, yeah.
think is what you would call it. Like I think they have that there, and I learn best in like a more
See, there was a
smaller
few
personal environment.
there was a few classes where we had like in like just in one room sort of thing, and then there was somewhere we were in an auditorium.
I see. I don't even think I've ever. All of my classes were never in an auditorium. I
Yeah,
never
no, let's
had
see.
to
I
worry
had
because they were so small.
oh man, I'm trying to think. I mean, I know I had biology in in an auditorium, but I had another class in an auditorium as well. I forgot what it was though now.
So with that, I did apply to both. I did, I was biased towards JU because obviously like the campus is a lot more appealing and just the
Mm-hmm.
smaller class size was more appealing. And I ended up getting my letters back from both. I did get accepted to both.
Ooh,
But I ended up getting like a $60,000 scholarship to JU, and that paid for it's
damn
like a
girl.
little like the half like half of your tuition for your 4 years.
God damn.
Um Luckily my parents, like I said, they agreed to pay for my college,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I went there, and I was very excited. And um yeah, I had no idea what the hell I wanted to do with my life, but I did know that I wanted to go to this beautiful college, and
Yeah, see,
it ended up
that's
working out for me in the end.
yeah. See, like I'll immediately go to that too. I had it. So of course, like jumping topics a little bit, but I had it dead set. I was like, I want to be sports medicine. Boom. I don't want to be sitting at a desk. I want to be up. I want to be moving. I want to be active. I want to be doing things. Dead set on that. My entire college career. Fast forward 10 years from when I got out of college. I now sit on my ass and play video games for almost 8 hours a day. And when I'm not doing this, I'm at work picking up boxes. And then when I'm not picking up boxes, I'm sitting on my ass at work and doing paperwork. So,
It's funny because I always assumed that I would be sitting on my ass, which I do, which we'll talk about later. And now that I do that, that's the last thing I want to fucking do
yeah,
now.
well, like, and that's like, yeah. But
That's the
that's
way life does it.
exactly. And that's the other, so like, he, after high school decision. So I found it interesting the way because of course I was trying to find a way to word the 80 different things that you told me into one line. So
Many options.
yeah, like I said, honestly, I don't know how you don't like lose your voice. Like I do a podcast by myself and I lose my fucking voice. I go into your stream and you're just nonstop, just going for I don't know how long you ever go because by the time I go to bed, you're still going. So, Um,
I honestly think I've only lost my voice maybe once, and it was when I was sick.
oh, jeez.
I
Lucky
don't
you.
I don't lose my voice very often. Knock on wood, wherever I don't have wood by me, but if I could knock on wood, I would.
See, that was another one. Like during the 24-hour stream when I was telling you about that, like I lost my
Uh-huh.
voice like midway through it. Like towards the end of
Ooh.
it, I started losing my voice. Like I could tell.
Just
So
type
I was
in
just
just
like, I
type
was
to your
just,
chat.
I know, because I had all my sneaks. So I was just like fucking pounding sneaks, just fucking nonstop. Um, But so I found it interesting the way you talked about it because you said about different decisions you would have made versus decisions that you wouldn't never have thought of. Like you wish you kind of like went like on like a vacation, like go on
Oh,
abroad,
yep.
or like that sort of thing. So
Mhm.
I was interested to see like what like because for me I honestly like I've never really had a life plan. Like as weird as that sounds, I've never had like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this,
110%.
and then bop,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna be, here at this point. I've never had that. I've always just kind of
Mhm.
been like, it's like, look, I'm having a good time right now. Fuck it, let's just ride. You know.
Oh, yep.
But
I
like,
see, I'm scared of that.
oh yeah, see, no, see, I
It
live by
frightens
that.
me.
I live. So I right now have the most money I've ever had in my entire life
Good shit.
because of everything that's happening in the world right now and the way that
Mhm.
things went. I was able to put money aside. Meanwhile, I was still paying off all of my bills and my rent and being able to buy my food. You know, and I have
Oh,
more money
yeah,
than
dude, staying from home saved me money too, yep.
like everything. So it's like I've been like I'm like now in a good spot where like if anything were to randomly fucking happen, like cool. I'm good for a little bit. I don't feel so bad. Like I'll actually have like
Yeah.
a month or two before I have to go live in my buddy's basement.
I love that.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, good shit.
Um, but so yeah, so like going abroad, what was something like because like that was the very first one, and I know that a lot of people do that
Oh,
coming out of high
yeah.
school. It's like fuck it, I'm gonna go abroad for a year.
Mhm.
I never, and this may just be the fact that I grew up in England and then moved here when I was 13.
Uh-huh.
I've never seen the appeal of it.
Well, speaking as someone who, has never been outside of the US.
That's why I wanted to bring it up. Like it's kind of one of the first things because there's this and then there's the other one,
Uh-huh.
that I want to bring up. So
Mhm. It's just I personally enjoy other cultures, and I'd like to learn more about them, and I've never really thought about where I would ever study abroad.
mhm.
Like, I feel like England would be cool, Japan would be cool, China, uh, I don't even know, Ireland? I have so many places that I wanna go to in my life, and I feel
So
like
now,
had
so,
I started then.
so now here's the question: would you
Yeah,
go to like when if you were to do it, would you study abroad or would you just travel? Basically, that's what
uh,
I'm like. That's what I'm
if I
getting
were to
at.
start now
Well, no, like
or
just
back then?
like let's just go in general.
Oh, now it would just be to travel. Going now, it would have been to travel, but if I would have started, back whenever I was just out of high school, would have definitely been more of like a study abroad type. If there was some sort of like school program or what have you,
hmm
I would have done that. Which funny, I say that at JU, they did have a study abroad program. However, I was at the time working about 25, 30 hours a week. Um, as a server, and then it cost, like 5,000 however many dollars. And at the time, my parents didn't really seem to, be into me doing that because, that is a lot of money to spend at one
Yeah.
time. And I think you did have to buy your own plane ticket to wherever you went. And so that sort of downed my option of being able to study abroad in high school. And I feel like there are programs right after you get out of high school, or did I say high school? I don't know. I might have messed up my words. It's fine. But like had I gone right out of high school and worked a little bit, and this sort of goes along with after high school decisions. Like if I would have taken like some time off
hmm
and not have gone to college immediately, I would have been able to search up programs where you can go abroad and live with a host family, stuff like that, and I don't know, just
See,
explore the world a little bit more.
see, like for me, there's plenty of places I want to go. Like I want to go. Like I'd love to go to Iceland. I'd love to go to Greenland. I'd love to go to like Norway. A lot of the
Mhm.
Scandinavian places. I'd love to fucking go. My thing
Mhm.
is though, is that like thinking back to like 18-year-old Husky. The
Mm-hmm.
last thing he would want to do is to have to do fucking work. Like, not work, but like homework and schoolwork while also being in these places.
Oh, dude, in in college, I didn't mind homework.
See, I hated that
Homework
shit.
didn't bother me.
I hated
Homework
that
didn't
shit.
bother
See,
me.
I've gone into it before on stream with like me with reading. Like I
Mm-hmm.
used to hate reading because it
Mm-hmm.
was to me I attributed reading with being forced to read.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. I'm not saying that like I can't read because obviously I fucking can. For you fucking assholes out there saying I can't.
What? My
Um,
name's Jared. I'm 19 and never fucking learned how to read.
yeah. Right. But no. So like for me, like it's always one of those things where like I hate kind of like being forced to. So like if I like for
Mm-hmm.
instance, if I was in Iceland and I was like hanging
Mm-hmm.
out, doing my thing over there, like enjoying the country, like doing all this, the last thing I want to
Mm-hmm.
do is be like, cool, instead of going to this really cool like monument or this really cool like fucking like ancient place, I'm gonna sit in this room and I'm gonna write a paper.
Right. But I think with those types of programs, they have everything like laid out for
Oh,
you.
of course, like I
And
said,
from my understanding,
I have no clue. So
oh yeah, and from my understanding from like my cousin did the study abroad as well.
mhm.
The classes that you do abroad are very easy. They're not too intensive to where like if you do have homework, they like I said, it's not too intensive
Yeah,
or what have you. So it won't take you too long to do the homework, and then you have all this time out of the rest of your day or the rest of your week, depending on the school
true.
schedule, to go explore.
See, and I can definitely see a lot of um the appeal to it, right?
Mhm.
It's definitely an interesting thing, but I think the big thing is though is that it's that financial side of it where
Yep.
like I mean, mind you, college is a big financial thing too. College or university,
Mhm.
whichever one you go to, it's a big
Mhm.
financial thing. But it's a little bit, I feel like it's a little bit more. I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. Um, it's a little bit more. I don't want to say safe, but that's the word that's coming to my mind.
Okay.
Like for
Yeah.
instance, like
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
you're going to JU, I know you're going to JU.
Right.
But if I know you're going to fucking India, where are
It's
you in India?
right, especially like as a parent
Exactly.
where
Like,
you're especially like with my college, it was right down the road from my house. So like I would go to school, come back home, go to work, come back home, and that was sort of my schedule. The 3 years that I went to JU.
yeah,
Whereas, whenever you're abroad, you don't really get to talk to people every day. I mean, you could go on like Facebook and stuff, but like there's a lot more uncertainty. And depending on where
yeah.
you go, there could be some sort of like safety concerns that you have for your child.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I mean, like, and like, I'm not saying that like that's something that would happen. I'm just saying like I can see
oh
kind of,
yeah.
I don't know. Like I
Oh
said,
yeah.
I don't know how to really word it, but studying abroad is a very interesting one. It's a very interesting one. Like I said, I never thought of it because, like I said, I grew up in England. I moved here. I kind of already did study abroad, technically, if you think about it. Um,
Right, and so it didn't really appeal to you. And that's
yeah,
where like it really depends on the person because like I said, me personally, I've never been outside of the states. And so the one of the first things I want to freaking do whenever I'm able is go out of the country because I just want it interests me, man. It just I want to see different things. I want to see how different places
oh yeah, I
differentiate.
mean and that's the thing is like it's very interesting seeing because like for instance like um I've been to Scotland, of course, me being in England, Scotland, England, France, Spain, Canada, and now the U.S. I've been to a few
Love
different
that.
states here.
I'm jealous.
And it's funny now that I'm old enough where I can actually think back on a lot of it. It is
Mhm.
really actually interesting seeing how much different places differ. So like for
Mhm.
instance like when I went to Spain, I remember it being very laid back. I mean, of course, I was fucking really young when that happened, but it was very laid back. Like everyone was laid back. Like all the people were laid back. Um, I used to like I went there with my mom to see one of her friends, and like a mile away was the beach.
Oh hell
So I
yeah.
used to go to the beach, and there was a little ice cream vendor dude there, and he knew me as the English kid.
Oh hell
So
yeah.
he would see me and be like, "English kid," and then he would like he would reach in and grab the ice cream that I ordered the very first day.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a very like this is like the second time I ever
Oh
saw him, sort of thing. So it was a very cool like thing where like
yeah.
when I went to France, that was very weird because like we landed in France, in Paris, so we see Paris and it's like you see all of this, fucking like architecture. You see the fucking Eiffel Tower, you see the Louvre, you see all this shit, and then we drove 4 hours into the fucking backwoods
Mm-hmm.
where like my uncle has like a little chateau sort of thing, and that's where we stayed the whole time.
Oh hell yeah.
So it was kind of a weird one because it's like you go and you see like the very modern, and then it's like 3 hours away. It's like, oh, now we're like back in like OD times. Um, so
It's
I
amazing.
so I will say it is kind of cool seeing some of those different things,
Oh
and
yeah, and
like but like
especially I could imagine France, everything you see on the TV, and see that's another thing. Everything I see on TV or in pictures, just I can only imagine it seeing it in person.
yeah, see, like it's one of those ones where like, and I'll maybe hit and tell you about all that stuff later, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, that was one of those ones where like I really don't think about it too much because it was I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of lame, but I think I was more of the host problem than it actually being France's lame problem.
Right.
Um,
Probably depends on where you are.
yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, no. So I mean, like that's a very not a easy, but that's a very common after high school decision. The one that I was gonna bring up
Yep.
was trade school.
Yep.
So when I was coaching, I used to tell the kids, and probably an asshole fucking doing this, but I used to tell the kids when I was coaching them, I would say like, if they were asking me about college and this and that, of course I got to talk back to them about it. So I'd say like, hey, are you going to play college football, or are you going, are you going to college? Like, what are you doing? And if they weren't going to school to play sports, and they didn't automatically have like, I want to go to this school, I automatically was like, go to trade school, get a fucking job, and leave this place.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Trade school. I mean, trade school is a great option because there's so many well-paying jobs that you can get from
hmm
going to a specific trade school, and it's a lot of the times it's significantly cheaper. I mean, a majority of the time, I would say it's significantly cheaper than going to college.
yeah. Oh yeah, easily.
And
I mean, it's like
mm-hmm,
one of the kids that I coached. It's funny because I still keep in touch with them every now and then.
mm-hmm,
He went to school. I asked him how it was going. He's like, I fucking hate it. I want to leave. I don't want to be here. And I was like, then do it.
mm-hmm.
And he's like, what?
Yeah, if you're gonna do anything rash, you do it while
Yeah,
you're
I was like,
young.
well, and I was like, do it. I was like, if that's what you want to do, then do it. And he's like, but no, nobody has my back. I was like, I have your back. Like I was like, if you don't want to fucking do it, do it. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no one's forcing you to do this. I was like, what do you want to do? And he's like, well, I kind of want to go to trade school to do this. I was like, then do that.
Hell
And
yeah.
I was like, I'm fucking behind you all this way, bro. Like, go ahead, do it. Like, you need anything, let me know. And like, he hit me up, like, I think it was like a few months ago, and he was like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
just so you know, like, I finished my first year of trade school. And
Oh.
it was kind of one of those things where, like, yeah, I got the message. I was like, all right, like, that's fucking cool, you know?
Oh hell yeah. Dude,
Um,
yeah, I wish. I mean, granted, if I never really looked into trade
see,
schools
I didn't
because
either,
mm-hmm.
because, but like, now that I'm a grown up, yeah, I would have looked. I probably would have looked. I probably wouldn't have gone because I wanted to play college football. But
Oh yeah, it's insane. It's insane what you learn, especially after graduating college. All the different opportunities that you could have had you actually like researched
oh, yeah, exactly.
yourself or just did more than all right. I want to go to college. What's next?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and I mean, the only other after high school decision that I can really think of is immediately
Mm-hmm.
going to work.
Yep.
Which that is literally the last option in my book. Like,
Depends.
see, so for me, it's the last option unless like there's one of two options. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so for me, it's one, you physically like you do not want to go to college. You have
Yeah.
no want to go to college, no nothing. You just want to, I just want to go over to the local gas station, start working, work my way up the ladder, and eventually, I own this fucking the branch here. Or it's one of those things where it's like, okay, this is what our family does. Like there's a no,
Yeah,
what
family
is
business.
there's one main family business. I won't say the name, in my town where like kids have left as like sophomores of high school, left
Oh
and just went
shit.
right into the family business. Like we
Oh,
had a
that's
kid,
insane.
yeah, we had a kid that football wise when I was coaching,
Mm-hmm.
we were fucking so excited for him to be back. We're like, great, we got him back. He's gonna kick ass this year, and then we found out that he like unenrolled from school because he was gonna join the family business early.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, and
I couldn't
they make
imagine.
bank. This family makes bank. So like I could
Yeah.
like a bunch of the other coaches were pissed. I'm sitting there like fucking good for him. Like kids fucking kids younger than I am making more money than I am. Like good for
Oh
fucking him.
right.
You know.
Oh hell yeah. 110%.
But yeah, no, it's a very, and I think the biggest one that we haven't talked about that I think more people should do
Mm-hmm.
is just take a year off.
Oh, dude, I think the gap year would have been so beneficial. I mean, in that time, you can do so much.
One
Like
is
with some of the options that we've talked about, like you could
yeah.
work,
Well, I mean, it's like,
figure out what you like.
and it's my other thing as well is that like it's one of those things that like I feel like it's like especially like when I saw it happening when I was coaching, you're
Mm-hmm.
fucking beating kids down. Like, what do you want to do for life? What do you want to do for life? What do you want to do for life? These motherfuckers have two things on their mind: how can I get fucked up without getting caught,
Yep.
and how can I get laid?
Yep.
That's what high school people think about. It's not, hey, I want to become a, fucking electrical engineer when I grow up and work for this big fancy company. Right? Like it's like
Oh yeah. I agree 110%. Like all you focus on in high school, you just want to have fun.
so I think it's
Whatever fun means to you.
yeah, so I think it's one of those things where like a year off really like is beneficial because like for instance, I had one kid, one of the kids dear to my soul, love the kid to death.
Mm-hmm.
He went off and he was going to do what the fuck was it? It was something to do with environmental biology or something like that.
Ooh.
So he was going to go do that, and then me and him talked,
Mm-hmm.
and I said to him, I was like, "So what are you going to do after college?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I haven't thought about that." And I'm like, "You kind of got to think about these things, man. Like, you're going to have a degree that's a very specific,
Right. You need to look into jobs.
you
You should
know."
be looking into jobs like your junior
And I was like,
internships.
exactly. And I said to him, and like I said, I could be an asshole for fucking doing this, but I said to him, I was like, look, I was like, that's like saying I'm going to go to college and get a degree for underwater basket weaving.
Mm-hmm.
It puts you in such a close thing. I was like, I went for sports medicine. I went for athletic training. I found out that if surprise, surprise, if you go for athletic training, guess what that means you can be? It means you can be an athletic fucking trainer, and that's it.
Right.
I immediately switched my major over to to health science
Mm-hmm.
underneath the sports medicine branch, and that opens me up to fucking everything.
Yep.
So I was like, it's that bigger, wider branch thing. So I said that to him within like I think it was a few months. He sent me a message like we were talking, and he told me he's like I changed my degree. He's like I'm changing it. I'm gonna become like a teacher
Oh,
because he's
that's awesome.
yeah, and the way and his mindset was great. He's like we're always gonna need fucking teachers.
Yep.
And like that was like my big thing, like especially talking with a lot of these guys. Like if you don't have that fast track thing, like one of my buddies that I went to college with, between if I remember correctly, between high school and college, he had worked for this company, and then every summer he worked for that company.
Uh-huh.
When he left college, he worked for that company. He's still working for said company.
Nice.
Yeah, so like that one was a very easy, simple, one for him. So like it's just kind of it's one of those ones where I feel like with the way that we are so wishy washy with stuff, especially at that age, like,
right?
We don't know what the fuck we want. Taking
And
a year off is like.
I mean, it gives you time to learn some new jobs. Like within that year, you could be a server somewhere. You could be a receptionist somewhere for different companies. You
Exactly.
can do
I mean, it's
so
like,
much and see what you like.
well, it's like,
Whereas, like yeah, you're rushed. You're really rushed to sort of pick the rest of your life within that first few years of college.
Yeah, I
And
mean
you're so
it's
young.
and like that was like the one recently, like within the years of me being out. Like my dad has said to me twice, two different degrees that he thinks I should have done. He thought I should have went to film school. I should have done more on the film side because I have
Mm.
my mind for film and my mind
Mhm.
for like ideas for certain films and stuff like that you could make. He said is like I should have fucking went into that. And then the other one is that he said I should have actually went for can't think of the name of it now. But basically like radio, TV, communications.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like the way that you do stuff with stream and this and that and how easily it is for you to pick all this shit up. He's like, you should have done that because you'd be fucking fast tracked. So and then like
Right.
one of my other buddies, he's recently said to me that he thought that I should go back to college. To
Mhm.
which he got a giant "go fuck yourself" before he could even finish that sentence. But he said that I should be in IT.
Oh, dude, yeah, you can make decent money in IT.
And the whole reason was just because of the way that I think about things.
Mhm.
So who was an Osam again? Who's that?
Oh, that's Mason.
Mason. Okay. It's
Yes.
back. It's
It's like
Mason.
Dana's.
It's
It's just
Mason
like Dana's.
backwards.
Mhm. Exactly.
Y'all are fucking with my head with this. They said they asked, "Do you regret not staying on campus and having the traditional college experience?" Which is rolling into the next topic. Because we're basically done with after high school decisions. Because
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. So there you go. Do you regret not staying on campus and having a quote unquote traditional college experience?
In a sense, yes. Because because I wasn't staying on campus and stuff like that, I'll be the first to say I did not make a lot of friends in college, because I was there for my classes. And I left, so I had classes from like 9 to 1,
Mm-hmm.
what have you, for most of the days. So after 1 o'clock, I went home and then I went straight to work. I would come back home and then repeat the next day.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get to make a lot of connections, make a lot of I never went to a college party, for example. I did not join a sorority. I didn't do a lot of the things that, looking back now, I sort of wish I did,
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, sad to say, college wasn't really like a memorable experience for me. Like, I didn't really other than learn my major, I didn't really do a lot. Like, I didn't really find myself, I guess you could say, in college. Like, I didn't there was no, like, I don't know. It wasn't like high school where I made all these friends and we hung out all the time, and
Well,
whenever I wasn't.
that was one of the things I was just gonna say. I feel like college is very much. It can be a very big switch and bait because growing up, you see all these TV shows, you see all these movies, you hear all the stories from the old people, or people that are just a little bit
Mhm.
older than you, and you get this grand idea of what college is gonna be,
Right.
and it's only that way if you make it that way.
Exactly.
Like you didn't like you just said you never went to a college party. I went to a college party within the first like two like let's see first 3 weeks of me being there, and that was like preseason.
Yup.
Like at the end of preseason, we had a big party.
And it also depends on, like, who you are as a person. Like me, I'm surprise, surprise, I'm an introvert unless you get to know me. Like, I'm very introverted until I get comfortable with you, and then I can finally, like, be an extrovert.
Okay.
So, like, in school, y'all are gonna love this. I was the person who sat in the front of the class as far as I could to the teacher, wrote on my notes, paid attention, answered all the questions, and then immediately left, went to the next class, did the same thing. I did
Jesus.
the same thing in every class. I didn't, turn around, say, "Hey, what's up? My name's Emily. Who are you?" Like, I was there as my mindset back then was, I'm just here to get my education and then I need to go to
Hmm.
work and make money.
See,
Which,
See, for
I
me,
made
it was very like, of course, because it was one of those things where for me, show up a month early to college, right? Because preseason.
Mhm.
So you show up a month early. As a freshman, you are then introduced to your new family. You don't get to pick your friends now. This is your family. Like,
Mhm.
there it is. You'll meet some friends outside of the brotherhood and the football team. That will
Yeah.
be good friends. But the main friends you will have will be here.
Right.
And it
Which
was
makes
like,
sense.
and it's a very easy thing. Like, so it's like one of those things where immediately, like, for me, I didn't have a choice in who my friends are. Would
Mhm.
I trade them? No, of course I wouldn't fucking trade them. But like for me, it was easy meeting friends. For you though, if you were like trying to make friends,
Mhm.
it must have been, it could have been a nightmare. For me, it's like, no, 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 you don't get to choose. That's your new friend now.
Oh yeah, like I think I made like two friends that I still, like I wouldn't say we necessarily like keep up with each other, but like we're friends on social media.
Yeah.
And one girl, she was in my major. So like we had all our classes together. She would actually sit next to me in the front of the class. So like she was like me, and I think that's sort of why we got along so
Mm-hmm.
well. Was like we were both sitting, and after you guys sit next to each other for so long, you sort of start talking and holding conversations and stuff like that. And then another girl, we had our statistics class together. We took statistics together, and then we ended up taking a couple other, because she was oh god, what was it? Like the aerospace stuff or what have you. She was something to do with airplanes or some bullshit like that. I
Peepers
don't
the
know.
Evil Pink Bunny. Thank you for the follow. That's such a great fucking name.
It's Twiggy.
It's
Um
Twiggy.
but like, we became friends because again, like she was essentially the same. Like she sat in the front of the class.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice a repetition of who I became friends with. Everyone who was a nerd like me it was very easy for me to get along with. But
Okay,
then
fair enough.
I will say I did have one girl. One girl became my friend. This was in environmental science.
Oh, okay.
I only had to take one science class because obviously my major was accounting
Yeah,
in
lucky you.
college. So I took environmental science. This girl, she was a sorority girl, tried to be like one of my best friends. She tried to get me into the sorority and stuff like that. Uh she basically used me for my grades. Like oh, I didn't do the homework. Can I see your homework?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it
Stuff
was one
like
of the,
that.
yeah,
If
yeah,
if we were in groups, she wanted to be in my group because she knew that like I did well. Like
yeah.
I don't fuck around when it comes to my projects. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so she was my quote unquote friend. After we didn't have a class together, she didn't fucking talk to me.
Yeah, shocking.
So yeah, it's I
See
like I
for
said,
me,
I'm an
like,
introvert, so I didn't really go out of my way to make
so
friends.
like that's kind of one of the things is like I'm like I consider myself an introvert, but then when I get around my college friends, I'm like a completely different person. It's
Oh
kind of
yeah,
fun. Like you can
110%.
kind of see it. Like the funny one is like if you watch like a stream where I'm not playing with my college buddies versus when I am playing with my college buddies, it's two completely
Mhm.
different people.
Mhm.
And it's funny to me for that for that reason because like what you were saying like like she was kind of like, oh, can I have your homework? Like for me and the guys, like there would be times when like someone would come and be like, look, dude, you got to do your work, so get your ass out here, we're gonna do it together, like
Mhm.
let's fucking go. It's like playing video game, leave me alone. It's like no, 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 let's go. Because like it was just that thing of like if I fail, then I'm not on the team, which then that could hurt the team. You know,
Right.
so it was a
Right.
very like for me, my college experience was so team oriented almost because like you were saying about how like you would get done with your classes at 2 and then you would go to work. For me it was like I would get done with my classes at 2 if I had them that day, and
Mhm.
then I would be going to I'm going to the athletic building, I'm either watching film with the coaches, I'm hanging out with some of the guys in the locker room. Then we got a 2 to 3 hour practice, and then we're eating lunch together, and then we have study hall, and then at like 10 o'clock at night, I'm back in my like in my room.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
You
like
know,
completely different.
oh yeah. And what's funny is, like I said, I would always go to work. I worked probably like 5 days out of the week
Mm-hmm.
serving. A lot of my friends are my coworkers.
Yeah.
Like to this day, I made more friends work like as a server than I did in college, which is sad. But like, I mean, the friends I made are fucking great. Like I love them all.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, and especially, and I will say, being a server caused me to become a lot more extroverted.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think compared to who I was back in like from 2014 to like 2017, I've definitely become a lot more comfortable with like who I am and become just a lot more vocal and extroverted than
Yeah.
I used to be.
Well,
I
again,
really
I
enjoy
think,
that.
and I think that was kind of like for me with college, it was more who I was around that caused
Mm-hmm.
that. Because, like, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, like my buddy Big John, like my best friend,
Yeah.
like we kind of were very introverted together. Did we go out? Did we go to parties? Yes, we did. But like more, like if we were together, we were a little bit more introverted. Now, if I'm hanging out with my buddy Birdo, who's the guy who makes it now, so whenever I say fucking wicked smart, that's the only
Love
way I can
that.
fucking say it because of him. Um, Whenever I was around with him, though, we were fucking out and doing things.
Right.
Like my 5th year, he showed up in my room, waking me up with a bottle of whiskey, like in my
Oh,
room,
hell yeah.
like just like Colin, wake up. I remember waking up looking, and he's like already like pouring it in my mouth as I'm still asleep. Like, it's Sunday morning, it's time to party, and I'm like,
I
no,
love
bro,
that.
like chill, like you know. But like, so I think it, like, for me especially, it was like kind of exactly like who we were around. But it is one of those things, though. It's very interesting because, like, for like my days were so, from being a freshman, like I
Uh-huh.
was taught like this is how it works. You go to classes, you go to practice, you go to study hall, you go back to your dorm or your room, and then in the off
Yep.
season, the off season is very similar. It's just a little bit different. Where instead it's you go to your classes, you have like a little break now, then you go to the
Mhm.
workouts, then you go to then you go to study hall, then you go back to your room.
Right.
So like you get into this like a very rigid almost schedule, and it becomes fucking easy after like a year, because now it's like after the first year you're like, okay, cool, so this is what it's going to be like. When I was doing my classes, really easy. It's like, okay, I can't take a class that goes past this. And there was some classes that, like, I remember me and one of my buddies, Unright, we had one class, I think it was our junior year, that started at like I think it was like at 6, and our
Mhm.
practices ended at 5:30. So we needed to get out of practice early so we could go eat and then go there.
Uh-huh.
But it was like, so once a week, like we would be in the middle of practice, and we would like have to go ask the coaches what time it was so we could fucking leave,
Mhm.
sort of thing. So it was like it
That's
was.
insane.
Yeah, so it was very like certain parts of it were very weird, but like overall though, it was very, like, for me, my college experience was very, like, I had a fucking great time.
Oh yeah, I
You
don't
know,
doubt that. I feel like a lot of athletes do, depending on where you go, I should say.
And that's the thing, is like
Depending on
I
where you
I
go.
went in the middle of the sticks where there's nothing to fucking do. So
Right.
drinking and chewing basically, and playing games, and being assholes. That's kind of what we did. You know,
Right.
um,
Now,
it's
were the professors a lot more lenient on you because you were athletes when it came to like schoolwork and stuff?
depended.
Okay.
It all depended on the athlete, or on the teacher. There were certain teachers that were, um, surprisingly enough, some of the majors, like I said, I was sports medicine. A lot of the people that were in sports medicine were athletes. So a lot of it was like there was one teacher, Dr. W. Almost every one of her classes was, I would say, 95% athlete.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was like, so she, kind of, there was certain things that she would take a little bit easier on us, and certain things she wouldn't.
Right.
you know. But then like there was one teacher where like I remember like going to her one day. I mean, like, hey, look, I got to leave because we're going to we have to go to a game, so I got to leave class a little bit early. And she was like, nope, you'll leave class when you do. You have 10 minutes between the end of class to when you guys are supposed to leave.
Oh, love that.
And I'm sitting there like, no, that's not how this works. I was like, I have to leave early to go get my shit packed, get my suit on because we traveled in suits.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I gotta do, like, I got shit I need to do. And like I remember at one point, like she sat like, so there was like three of us, and every one of my classes I had football players in them. So like there was like three of us. We all
Oh,
sat down,
nice.
and I remember one of them pulls out his phone, and I'm like, and I looked over and I'm like, what the fuck? Like we're already not fucking getting out of here on time. What are you doing? And he's like, I'm texting the head coach. And the
Nice.
coach fucking called the teacher, and was like, look, they need to leave. And she was fucking mad, so mad. It was funny.
She was probably like, "Which one of you, mother?"
It was so fucking funny. But so
Like,
like
I love you guys even more.
yeah, right. Like I said, I think it all depended on the teacher because, like I said, there were certain
Right.
teachers that were like they were all good, they were good with it,
Mm-hmm.
and then there were some that weren't. But I mean, it was it's not like it wasn't like one of those things where it's like, hey, Colin, you're an athlete, so really isn't
Yeah.
this paper really isn't a B paper. But like, I'm gonna give you a B anyway. There wasn't shit like that. Like it was more like it was just more one of those things where it's like, oh hey, how'd the games go? Like you guys good? Like, like that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. 110%.
Yeah.
Oh man, see, and I think like with JU because it was a private, because you're paying a little bit extra money, the
mhm.
teachers were a lot more lenient, depending on the teacher, I will say. But there were a lot of times where like students, oh, I didn't get so and so project done. I know it was due at midnight. Can I please have more time to do it? And like I think they were a lot more lenient with stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Well, that's the other thing. Like as well, remember the school that I went to is a military school where civilians are allowed to go.
Mm-hmm.
So like we literally had there was the Corps cadets at the school. So like they were like dressed head to toe in ACUs and like
Right.
marching around and like going to like war classes and like platooned off and like doing that sort of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So like really the teachers couldn't like they couldn't really give anyone any real leeway because like you're not going to give those guys leeway, you know.
Oh yeah.
So but yeah, no. So I mean,
Man.
it was one of those things. Like I said, I had a great time. Like Big John, who's normally in my chat, he was my roommate for 3 years. I say four, but it was three. I'm still taking credit. I don't care what Kelly says. I'm taking credit for introducing him to his wife.
Oh, I love that. That's
Yep.
cute.
His daughter has the same birthday that I do. Yeah, and I
Oh.
love her to death. But like that's one of my friends, and I
Right.
met him there. The
Mm-hmm.
two guys that you almost always hear running their mouths on my stream now are
Yeah.
both like my really good friends from college.
Oh,
Funnily
nice.
enough, both of them were my guards, and I coached both of them for one season too. So,
Yeah.
um, but like yes,
Oh
so I
yeah,
mean
that's
it's like
awesome.
and it's one of those things. Like I said, I feel like you can give people because like I used to tell kids at the high school when I was coaching, like just certain things. Hey, get ready for this. Get ready for that. Get ready for this. Get ready for that. Just very basic, broad things. Because I'm not going to sit there going like, hey, look, guys, when you go out to a party like this and this happens, you need to do this. Because that's not always going to happen with everyone.
Oh yeah.
Instead, I was saying shit like, look, like, I'm not going to tell you not to drink because I'm not a fucking idiot.
Oh
I
yeah.
know you're going to drink. So just do this. Don't drink unless it's Friday or Saturday.
Yup. You just gotta be fucking smart about it.
Yeah. So I was
Don't
saying
be
shit
an
like
idiot.
that. Like one of the ones I still remember saying this to one. I forgot which kid I said it to, but they sent me a message and said, "Coach, it worked," and I was like, "Oh, good." I was like, "Fuck." But I told him I was like, "Look, I was like, if I was like, you're always going to get to a point where like you're in the dorm and you get introduced to everyone else, right? Like kind of like the introduction day." And I was like, "You're always going to find that one room where like all of the guys are around." because there's a smoking hot girl in there. And it happens every fucking year. And I was like, this is what you do. I was like, this is what you do. Okay. I was like, I'm gonna sound like I'm a madman right now. I was like, but this is what you do. You introduce yourself to all the people in the room, but then you look at them and you go, okay, obviously everyone's talking to her. No one's talking to her. That's the one you start talking to, and that's the one you go after.
Nice.
And I was like, you'll be shocked. And like, I remember getting a message back being like, Coach, it worked. What the fuck? Like, and I'm like, you're welcome. You're welcome. Like, you've been in the school for all of 2 weeks, and you already have like a girl. Yeah, you're welcome.
Amazing.
But yeah, no, like it's like it's one of those things. Like I was very. I cared a lot about football when I went to college. It's one of my big regrets.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of my big regrets. I cared a lot about football. I didn't give a fuck
Mm-hmm.
about my schoolwork.
Yeah.
But I didn't care about football to the level I should have as well. So it was one of those things where I was more cared about having a good time and playing football, when really like I should have been having a good time, but like I need to fucking get my ass in shape for playing football. It wasn't until my senior year when I did that, and at that point it was already too late. Like, you know. But yeah, no, I mean, like, and it's one of those things. Like, I've had people before ask me if I really regret anything from college, and I kind of don't.
That's
Good. I like my regrets are weird regrets. Like I regret not putting as much time and effort into football, like that sort of thing. Like that's my regrets. Is it's like weird shit like that. It's not like, well, I regret going to this college or meeting this person or dating this person. Nah, I don't give a fuck about any of that.
Oh
like,
yeah.
See,
I think I regret. I mean, obviously, I kind of wish I would have lived on campus just to have more of like the college experience and being able to actually like. I feel like I would have made a lot more lifelong friends had I done so.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing would probably have been taking a little bit more time to look into my major, because like the way I essentially I didn't decide my major until I had to, right?
Yeah.
So like my first 2 years, or I guess I should say my first year and a half. So I graduated college in 3 years. Because I essentially like with my dual enrollment and some of the AP classes that I took that got me college credit, I had close to a year done with that. So I guess I had like a year until I had to pick my major. So this was my way of thinking at the time. I was like, all right, well, I like math. Cool. So that leaves either mathematics, accounting, and finance. And I was like, well, I don't want to be a math teacher. So I ruled out mathematics, unless obviously you get like your PhD and then you become a college professor. But I was like, I don't want to go get my fucking PhD.
Yeah, right.
So then that left accounting and finance. Finance is more of like budgeting numbers and stuff like that, whereas accounting is actually like dealing with those numbers or like calculating the numbers. So I was like, all right, that sounds more interesting, or that sounds more like me, so I'm going to go with that. And also, I mean, obviously like accounting, everyone needs a fucking accountant. Every business you know of, every fucking tax season comes around, like those people are accountants. There's accountants are everywhere and they're never going to go away.
Yeah.
You're always going to be in need. And so that's sort of how I went with that. But like looking back on it, it's just, I don't know. You think back, and I don't know if it was the best decision for me, but it's definitely given me a lot of experiences.
But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is like I think it all depends on the experiences, like what you just said, because it's like for me, like my experiences were very much rooted in like the guys. Everything I did with the guys. Like there's very few memories that I have from college where it's like I did that.
Oh yeah.
It's more like, oh, there was this one time when me and your Uncle John, like that sort of thing.
Ooh, and I just thought of another thing. So in college,
Okay.
I was in a relationship with a dude that I'd been with since I was like 15.
Okay.
And he was a very jealous person.
Okay.
The relationship itself was not healthy, and so like he didn't really want me spending time with a lot of people because I had to if I wasn't there or not at work, if I came home late, you know, it was, well, why didn't you come home? Why didn't you say anything? Blah 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 blah. And I think another reason why I wasn't really able to like broaden my horizons and, you know, do as much more as what I wanted was due to the fact that, you know, I was in that unhealthy relationship, and I, you know, you get to a point where you don't want to upset that person,
Yeah.
so you sort of just settle with what's been going on, and you do it. You sort of just do that, and it becomes the norm. And you know, I'm not saying this is for everyone, but sort of wish I would have went into college not in a relationship.
I think that's
And
a big one that people kind of like most people that I feel like have gone into college in a relationship don't come out of college in that same relationship.
I mean, and especially with this specific person, like he didn't want to go to college.
Hmm.
He graduated a year before I did, and he dead set, I don't want to go to college. I just want to start working. He was the type of person, I just want to start working.
Yeah.
Or if I'm able to go to a trade school, but obviously, you know, that costs money. So either way, he had to start working.
Hmm.
Um, and so, you know, he started doing stuff that was like very, very manual. So like my family owns an electrical business.
Okay.
He started working for them, and it's very, very hands-on. Well, he would come home and he would be all, you know, stressed out talking about how hard his day is. And, you know, I'm trying to say, like, yeah, dude, I understand. Like, I've had a hard day too. Well, how could you understand? You just went to school and you worked as a server. And I'm
Oh.
like, well, do you understand how like that's still work? Just because I'm not
Yeah.
working with my
Right.
hands, I'm working with my fucking brain and shit. It's still just as it's not the same
Being very.
sort
I mean,
of
like that's just a very selfish attitude as well. You know, just like oh, I'm so tired. Yeah, me too. No, you're not. It's like
exactly.
it's
Like
like
you don't even compare.
yeah.
And it was just, yeah, it's just, you know, it wasn't a good time. I mean,
See,
it was a learning experience. It was a learning experience, I will say.
yeah, like see, like I almost got into a relationship before I went to college, which is really funny
Mhm.
because the girl was also going to the same college as me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I decided against it. I was like, no. I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I need to focus on football, And then also in the back of my mind, it's like, also I might be able to date someone, a little bit better than her. Um, very much an
It's
asshole.
fair. I
Um,
mean, but that's how a
yeah.
lot of people think.
Um, I'm kind of glad I did that now because um, yeah. That's all I'm gonna say with that one. But no, when I was in college, I only really got into one relationship, and it wasn't even a relationship. It was one of those things where she didn't acknowledge there was a relationship, but everyone else acknowledged that we were in a relationship.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, it was wicked fun, really fun, really enjoyed it. Um,
I can't stand that.
yeah, no, it was a nightmare. The amount of fucking like bad shit I can say right now is just unfucking real.
I can
Um,
only imagine dating in college. See, I had many guys that were interested, but I had to turn everyone away. All the good dudes that went to college, which, you know, I don't regret now because, you know, obviously I'm with Trevor, so I love him. He's great.
mhm.
But, you know, all the dudes that were, you know, had stuff going for them, I decided, no, I'm going to stick with this dude that's fucking not going. I mean, I don't want to
Yeah.
say he wasn't going anywhere, but he wasn't really
Well,
going
like that's
anywhere.
like that's the only thing I'll say about this girl is that like I left, so I had to do a fifth year, so I did a fifth year, and
Mhm.
then I was like, I'm gonna go coach, so I started coaching, and I was talking
Mhm.
to her, and like we were still talking, and every now and then, and I remember at
Mhm.
one point she was like, I'm not going to date you if you're gonna be a coach.
Excuse me?
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck do you mean? And she's
Who
like,
are you?
well, like, yeah, so like, and then she goes on this rant about like how like that's not a real profession, and da 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 da. Like, you need to get a real job. You have a sports medicine major, like you can be doing this or that, and like we can do this and that, like together, and we
Oh,
can do this
no.
and that. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, like she's making some valid points, but like I want to coach. Like that's what I want to fucking do.
Yeah, and
Today she's dating some guy that works as a landscapist.
much better than a coach.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they may also work at like a gas station. But that's it. Like that's who she's with now. And I
Dodged a bullet.
oh yeah, wicked. Like you know, but like yeah, that's yet again that's another topic for another day that might come up. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I mean,
Coming up with ideas.
yeah, right. Today on the
Oh
effing
man.
title, we're gonna spend 2 hours talking about all the girls that have broken my heart and are old bitches now.
There you go. Oh hell yeah, I'll be there for that one.
God, that would get in so much fucking shit for that. I could already fucking
Just
tell.
don't say names. You
Well,
just
no,
don't
that's
say
the thing.
names.
Is like
It's fine.
I wouldn't say names, and somehow they would find out. Like that's just my luck. Is
I would
somehow
love
they would
that.
fucking find out. Because it's one of those things. Like there's some. Of course, like I said, veering off the fucking track like we always do here. There's some people that I've quote unquote been with that like once I start saying certain things that happened during said relationship,
Hmm.
it's one of those things where it's like, you know, how the fuck are you still single? Why the fuck didn't she wife you up? You know, like certain shit like that. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know.
Because women are dumb.
Dumb.
Just like how women say men are dumb, women are also dumb.
Yep.
Don't let them
We
lie to you.
we both dumb.
Yep.
We both
Everybody dumb in
we all
everybody dumb in
dumb.
this bitch.
Um, but yeah, no. I mean, like it's like yeah, college experiences though. I feel like it, like I said, we've hit
It's
it like four.
crazy.
It's so drastically different depending on what you do. Because like for instance, like one of my friends, my first year, I'll just say his name was Ryan because that was what his name was. Um, we were great fucking friends, and there was a girl on the floor that both of us wanted, and me being the very large, big, and husky man that I am, and him being the very smaller, muscular man that he was.
Hmm.
Obviously, she chose wrong. Um, and like they got into a relationship,
Hmm.
but it was one of those things like he knew I liked her, and
That's kind of a dicky move.
oh, the
Did
dick.
you know that he liked him and stuff? Or he liked him. He liked her as well. Was
No,
it
he
like,
didn't. He didn't
oh,
like
what a
her. It
dick.
was just the
What a
fact that like
dick.
he could get laid. So like they started fucking on a regular basis in our room, and it wasn't just like I'm asleep and I can sleep through this shit. It's like
Uh-huh.
I'm asleep and there's a porno going on and the volume's up to fucking 130 on the TV, sort of like noise.
Oof.
Yeah. So like that,
Oh,
like
no.
up until that point, me and him were fucking great friends.
Right.
And then that happened, and it immediately turned into this thing where like we were living together, but we fucking hated each other.
I mean, that's enough to piss
She,
anybody off, I would
I
think.
remember, I remember. The best part is I don't remember her name. So, she walks into the room one night, fucking completely shit faced. She wakes
Hmm.
me up because she falls fucking over, and as she's like getting up off the floor, I just roll over and I'm like, "What the fuck's going on?" And she literally puts her whole hand on my mouth and she goes, "Shh, shh. I'm sorry I woke you up. I just really enjoy fucking your roommate." And
Alrighty then.
that like it was one of those things where like I was in a daze waking up. I'm fucking fully awake at this point now. Like, oh fuck me. You know. Um
See, I don't have any experiences like that. That's insane to me.
oh no,
I
so
cannot relate.
let's see. I had one where my buddy, love him to death, Hitch is his name. Um he got so fucking drunk.
Uh-huh.
He threw up. But when he threw up though, Hitch, to put it in perspective, Hitch is me but black. Like literally, like I'm
Hmm.
not
Husky man.
he literally he's me but black, like
Love
size
it.
wise, look wise, not the
I
long
love
hair,
that.
but yeah. So like we were really good friends.
Hmm.
Many a story I can tell about that. I don't know if you would allow me to tell half of them, mind you. But see this one though, like he's so fucking drunk that he throws up, and when he throws up, he cups his hands and throws up into his hands.
Oh no.
So
Oh
we're all drinking.
no.
I'm up on my roommate's bed, the one that I hate. I'm up on his bed because I'm just bored and drunk. So I'm up
Yeah.
there, and suddenly all I see is like all I hear is, and then it's out of the
Oh
corner of my
no.
eye. All I see is this thing come up in the air and then fall back down, and then I hear a, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I look over the bed, and there's just a circle around him of just puke.
Oh no.
And what it
Oh
was, what I
no.
had seen, because one of my other buddies was in my bed. What I
Uh-huh.
had actually seen is he threw up into his hands, and because his hands were cupped, it hit his hands and like created this like beautiful puke like fountain in my room really quickly.
I love that. How
So like
beautiful.
I went to bed and I woke up the next morning at like 5 in the morning or something because of course it smelled fucking awful. And he's on his hands
Yeah,
and knees
yeah.
and he's on his hands and knees like crying. Fucking cleaning it up, and he looks up at me.
Oh.
He's still fucking drunk. He looks up at me. I'm so sorry, Colin. And I'm like, dude, you're okay.
Oh.
Like, don't, like, no, you're all right. Like, this is gonna happen to all of us at some point.
Right.
I mean, like, it's like the amount of stories that I could tell. I mean, most of them I don't think I can because I don't think that people want me to. And by people, I don't mean you people watching, because obviously you guys would love to hear fucking just random college stories. I mean more
Gotta
like,
come up with fake names.
yeah, but I mean it's one of those things. As soon as I throw a fake name to it, most of my college buddies watch my stream now,
Oh, love it.
so they will know who it
Oh
is.
yeah, they would know. Well,
Exactly.
that's at least no random people know.
Um.
That's great. I wish I had any of the see. That's another thing. I
So
don't
I
have stories like that.
here's
God
one.
damn.
Here's one to make y'all fucking go, oh, Husky, no.
Oh.
Yeah. So the way sports worked my freshman year was all the teams come in early, but it depended on what sport you were playing when you came in. So we came in, and like a week later, volleyball came in, and across the hall from me was this really cute Latina, short Latina girl from California.
Yeah.
Immediately, me and her hit it off.
Nice.
Find out she has a boyfriend. Like fuck.
Oof. Big oof.
After like 2 weeks, she no longer has a boyfriend.
Hell yeah, not a noof.
So I'm like at that point, as soon as I found out that like it was Rocky, like it was like shark in the water, like I see blood, let's go. So one day, oh, I'm never gonna fucking forget this either. We had we had 3 practices in one day. It was one of the worst football days of my life, and I remember it. And I've talked to my buddies about it. They the ones that were there, they all remember the triple. We had a very early morning, we had like a middle morning, and then we had like an afternoon.
Awful.
It was it was a
Gross.
nightmare.
Disgusting.
And then we had meetings at night during preseason.
Uh-huh.
Um, she crawled into bed with me because I was laying in my bed. She crawled into bed with me.
Uh-huh.
And I was kind of taking a nap, so I woke up and she's just in my bed. We start making out and doing some things.
Uh-huh.
And then I forgot what it was that she said, but she said it. And my initial response to respond back to her was, "No, I'm tired. I just want to lay here."
Ooh. Ooh.
The look, like she was like, got out of my bed,
Excuse me.
and that's when I noticed that she was fully naked.
Oh.
And like walked across the hall, and then the next thing I know, she's like dating someone else on the team.
Oh. Oh God.
Yeah,
You gotta love it. You
like
gotta love Homie
that story is gonna stick with me fucking forever.
Man.
But yeah, no, because it was such one of those things where like I said, like this was like the third week of this is the third week of preseason. I've never done anything this tough before because high school football was a fucking walk in the park. Compared to
Uh-huh.
this shit. And then we have a triple day, and then that happens, and like, yet the first thing that just came out of my fucking mouth was, "Nah, I'm tired. I just want to lay in bed."
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like I said, I could go on and on and on about fucking different random fucking things that happened to me in college.
I'm so jealous.
See, like some of them, like you should be, some of them you shouldn't. There was one day when I drank an entire handle of Jack Daniels to my face.
Oh hell yeah.
I then immediately blacked out, and I woke up the following morning with puke dripping down my wall and all over my bed.
Oh no.
And
Oh, not jealous of that.
yeah,
Not
no.
jealous of
And
that.
then the entire rest of the day was asking basically all my friends, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
when and where did you see me?" And we basically pieced together from like 9 p.m. until like when I threw up, basically.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like at one point, like I was walking down the middle of the fucking street, and one of the guys like was driving by us and drove by me and was like, "Colin, like you need to fucking like, the fuck you doing?" And I looked at him, I was like, "Fuck off, officer! I'm just walking." I tried to eat one of my friend's face.
Hell yeah.
You know,
You were on
like,
bath salts, right?
oh yeah, no, this is just a handle of Jack. Just fucking send it. You know. Um. Yeah, no, like college experiences really do drastically change depending on what you were going to college for.
Oh yeah. And the type of person that you are and who you surround yourself with and shit.
Yeah, because like I
It's
said,
insane.
there was many a day when like because like for instance like I can name a bunch of different parties that I went to. I can also name days when like it was literally just me and the guys watching English Shameless in
Yeah.
our room, or we're playing video games, or we created a slip and slide fucking down the hall one day. You know, like like went to go watch a movie on campus and like all sorts of just random shit. I feel like that could be an entire fucking podcast just talking about all the different shit that fucking, you know.
I'd be interested in that
If I did
because
that,
I could live vicariously through you.
if I did that, honestly, I would probably try and get John, Jeff, and Sturge all on as guests and just all three of us talk about just different days that we had or like different experiences, you know. Because like the amount of different shit that we've
Thing.
like, you know, it's just it's there's so many different like things that we, you know, as a group
Right.
did, but individually like the time I almost got kicked out of the school for shooting someone with a Nerf gun.
Nice.
Literally, I almost got kicked out of the school for shooting someone with a Nerf gun.
Oof, that's not good.
Yeah, like it was a literal I almost got kicked out of the school if it wasn't for my head coach fucking vouching for me.
The hell kind of shit is that?
Yeah, it was because I shot an RA, and the RA actually reported it.
Oof, what
Yeah.
a dick.
But yeah, no. But going on to our final topic of
Oh
the
hell
night,
yeah.
it is my life as a.
An accountant.
Okay, so as an, I mean, you just made that sound so much more interesting than like I know for a fact it is because I work like my best like I would say my best friend at work is our
Mm-hmm.
accountant. Um
Oh,
so yeah, so
nice.
as an accountant, please tell the people what you do.
So, as you guys know, well, probably don't know, there are many different areas of accounting. So you have governmental, non-for-profit, you have tax accounting, so on and so forth. What I do is sort of I deal with a the retail aspect of my company. So what that means is we're selling apparel, merchandise, so like t-shirts,
Mhm.
hats, and stuff like that. And specifically, I work in the sports industry. And so what that means is like a lot of the apparel that you buy at specific teams are related to my company, and I do the accounting for that. And it deals with like sales returns. We also do like opening new venues, so there's like a process you have to go through with opening new venues, such as like getting um mids, which are just ways for us to get the money to the bank and
Okay.
differentiate by the different, because my job, we have over 50 venues, and when I say venues that means teams.
Okay.
um so easier to differentiate between that. We have to get them petty cash, which is like your starting bank, like at a cash register. That's really all that means. um I also dealt with capex, which is capital expenditures. So that includes building improvements such as like fixing electrical, getting a new roof, any computers that are bought for the company you have to capitalize on. Well, workstations, I guess I should say. And then there's so many. I know, it's so interesting. And then there's also, I also did banking.
Okay.
So we have however many bank accounts. We have many bank accounts, you see.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We have a lot of bank accounts, and so I was in charge of a few of them. And I dealt with wires, ACHs, um, checks, and I do a lot of coding for AP. So like invoice coding, I guess I should say. So like when it comes to you, the process of an invoice. So a company receives an invoice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Accounting has to code that in order to put it into the system. So there is a, like, obviously like an accounting software. My company, for example, used DAX Analytics.
Okay.
Um, and that's essentially where you have your balance sheet and your P&L, or your, like, your profit and loss accounts, what have you. And yeah, you have to tell AP where to code it. They'll enter it in the system, code it that way, and then that's how it gets paid. Like, paying an invoice is a process within a company. At least the company I work for. Like, you don't just receive the invoice and it can automatically pay it.
Yeah. See,
So
some of the ones that like, because of course, like I don't know, because I'm a shipping manager in my company, so I don't know a lot of it. But like I know for a fact that like I get the purchase order, I get all the box ready. I then have to make sure that the accountant gets the purchase order back before they can invoice it. But
yeah.
from the way that it looks like on my side of it, because of course we're a third party vendor, right? So is a little bit different where with probably the way that we would do it versus the way that you would, because like a
Hmm.
way that we do it is all on their website. Like we invoice on the website, and then it's just like entering a few things. Here we go, boom, there we go, done.
So, like, with the accounting aspect of that, it would be confirming that the purchase order is closed. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've dealt with purchase orders. So, fun fact about Emily, she's done multiple different things for her company. Dear God. So, like, I started off in retail, and then I inherited CapEx and banking, while still doing retail. And then I also, before that, when like I first started, we dealt with purchase orders. And essentially what a purchase order is the movement of inventory, right?
Yep.
And so from an accounting perspective, if you create a purchase order and we're moving inventory, we have to confirm with you that, like, all right, you requested 10 $10, well, I'm not going to say, okay, $100 worth of apparel to
Yep.
be transferred to a vendor or what have you, to be transferred somewhere. We have to then confirm with you that, yes, this is the amount you moved. Oh, if not, and you'd be surprised at how much a purchase order can change through the
Oh yeah.
timeline of them creating it to being finalized and the merchandise actually being sent out.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't think, oh yeah, we didn't include five items, but we didn't think to tell you guys. Well, that's going to affect our books. And
Mm-hmm.
especially if you guys do that multiple times throughout the year, it can then become material to the company depending on how large your company is.
Yeah. I mean, I know for a fact that like if, for instance, if I do that with, I won't say which company it is, but if I fuck up with one of the companies, like no matter what, without even looking at it, $500 fine.
Yep.
Like without them even like looking to see like what it specifically is, automatically it's like $500 because I fucked up.
Insane.
And it's like yeah, it's one of those ones where it literally is like there's times when like I'll get it back, and like for instance, like I will have, instead of doing like 1191, instead I did
Mm-hmm.
1190,
Mm-hmm.
$500.
Yep.
And I did it one time out of like the 7 times I did it. Bow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
And the fun thing about being in accounting is, like, everyone dreads talking to you because a lot of the times when we're reaching out to you, it means you fucked up.
mm-hmm.
And so, like, you get a lot of the times where people just don't want to talk to you. You have to wait to get responses to emails, and you know, they don't tend to have the nicest tone when speaking to accounting.
Yeah, right. Oh, it's like, and like for instance, like that's one of the I got listed. No, not listed. I got told by one of the people I work with
Mhm.
to other people in the company that I'm an angry guy.
Ooh.
A mad angry guy because you know, if I fuck up, I take that, you know, to heart. Like I fucked up. Like I shouldn't fuck
Yeah.
up. Like I know
Yeah.
better than that. So like, of course,
Mhm.
I get a little bit pissed. I get a little bit mad. You know, I kind of, I'm a big dude, so no matter what, like if I show it at all,
Right. They're
y-
like, "Oh, this guy's angry. This is the
yeah.
angry guy
So
right
like
here."
after a little bit now, it's like it turned into one of those things where when one of the people like basically refused to fucking tell me anymore because like, oh, Colin's angry. And it's like, I'm not. I'm fucking mad at myself. Like,
Oh, see, yeah, I deal with everyone's fuck ups, and I call you out, and I don't give a shit.
yeah. Well, no,
Like
that's
our
one
AP
of
team is
the
awful.
yeah one of the new accounts. Like they tell me and they be like, look, like you did this. Like I don't know what it is. And it's like the like for instance, a few weeks ago we had 132 boxes go out
Mhm.
of jewelry,
Mhm.
and I fucked up one of them. $500 fine. So like
Ooh.
they let me know that like I fucked up, and of course I started to
Mhm.
get mad because it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then they immediately went to, you did ship out 132 things though, and you only fucked up one of them during this time when
Right.
we don't know where shit is. So
Mhm.
don't beat yourself up too much. You know, just
We just wanted
be
to
a
let
little
you
bit, yeah,
know that,
just be a little bit
yeah.
more careful. You know, like that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So I mean,
Mhm. Yeah, see, I'm the type of person if but this is where
listen here,
it's
Bill,
typically
you done
towards
fucked up, and you're
oh god,
fucking out.
I get petty. I get so petty sometimes cuz I deal with so much different shit and a lot of it's like the same shit. So for example, our I don't know if this is all AP with different companies, but our AP is just not it. And I deal very closely with them because like I said before, I do a lot of the invoice coding.
Mhm.
If I give you coding and you do something completely different, you do it to a completely different account, a completely different cost center. Now I'm like, where the did you get this coding?
Yeah.
Like, who or like our big
There's
problem as well as duplicates. They try to
oh
pay
yeah.
shit twice. And we've had a time they've paid and I'm we are the company I work for, I will say, is a multi-billion-dollar company.
Hmm.
$180,000 duplicated. How do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Like
How do you
that's
fuck that up?
one. It's like it's you know it's one of those things where like the company that I work for is nowhere close to as big as yours. Um, but we do good enough, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like we
You don't
have
have to be a multi-billion-dollar company to be successful.
yeah. So we have a guy that does a lot of our IT stuff and a lot of our like he buys a lot of our like computers and stuff like that. I have been
Mhm.
asking for internet in my workshop, like a actual line, for over a year now. On
Right.
Friday, I went to work for 3 hours. I had no internet for those 3 hours because the where I work is there's the building that I live in. Directly underneath me is the front offices to my business, to
Right.
the business I work for.
Right.
Out back from me is where my workshop is, and that's where I do all my shipping stuff. We had someone working on the building, so they parked their rig in between the Wi-Fi connector.
Mhm.
So I didn't have internet for an entire day.
Oh my god. I love that.
Because he refuses to do something very simple, which is get me fucking internet. It's the same thing with like I've been asking for fucking ages, like, hey, why don't I have PDF, Adobe, an Adobe Acrobat reader? I was like, why don't I
Mhm.
have one on my computer?
Oh, you don't need it.
Yeah, you don't know. I don't need it. And I'm like, I do. I was like, I need it for this program. So then he gives me one on the program, but it's not. It's not a version that's workable because I need to edit stuff.
Mm.
And then I'm
Oh,
told
did yeah.
And then I'm told by this guy that, oh, by the way, you can't just go out and buy this thing and have it work for all the systems. I'm sitting there like, I have Microsoft, like the Office, Word, all that shit. I bought that on my computer. As long as I sign into my account, I can download that on any fucking computer I want. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's how Adobe also might work these days, considering it is fucking 2020. And he's like, no, I don't think that's how it works. And it's like,
excuse me, are you sure?
Yeah, it's such a fucking nightmare. You know, like I said, I can go into, yeah, there's so much that's so bad with it. Like, one of the ones is we print on zebra printers.
Oh, I've dealt with zebra printers.
Right? They're pain in...
We capitalize those.
Yeah, right? They're a pain in the fucking ass, right?
I've never had to deal with them. I've coded invoices and I've had to capitalize them. I don't know about these things.
Yeah, so they're a pain in the ass because certain things, if you don't do it right, it won't like print right on it. So the company that we sell to, they changed their whole format up. So we had to sit down one day and figure out how to use the new format. So I sat down, I figured it out fucking no time at all. It gets to a point where I need to print something. So because of course my IT guy won't actually ever fucking sit down and figure it out, so it's just press a button, right?
Yeah.
Instead, we had to do this booty way where it's like, I download the entire file, I open the file on an Adobe Reader, I then crop it, print it, uncrop it, recrop it, print it, uncrop, so on and so on and so on until it's all fully done. So we're doing it brand new, full new way, trying to get it all done, and it gets to that point. And I'm like, cool, I'll just fucking knock this out, no fucking time at all.
Right.
And the boss is like, well, let's let the IT guy come in and take a look at this. He spends a fucking hour and doesn't know how to do it. Like, couldn't figure out anything. I sit down, within 3 minutes I have everything printed and done.
That's great.
Yeah, it's like
pure laziness right there.
And that's all it was. Like, that's all it ever is. He's one of those guys where we need a new computer in the office. He goes, okay. He goes online and finds one that's used, that's $500 less than this, and like this and this, and like, here we go. And I'm sitting there like, okay, let's just buy it. How about we just do that? How about we just buy a brand new computer? And it's like, oh, well, you know, we don't really need a brand new computer. All we need is the box. Like I work with my dad. My dad's computer blew up. Just literally stopped working.
Don't need a new one.
Yeah. So instead of buying a new one, what this guy did was he bought a new box and just transferred everything into the new box. And then somehow got it to like bullshit work, and it still doesn't work right. My dad complains about it daily, and it isn't. It's so fucking dumb. It's so dumb. And that's some of the shit that I have to deal with. So like I was gonna say, like, for a business your size, I can only fucking imagine. You know.
Oh, dude. Everything was surprisingly, you would think that a multi-billion-dollar company would have like the best systems, and especially my company is also like mainly we also do retail, but we are mainly e-com, meaning like we sell a lot of shit online, which you know who I work for.
Yep. And I know,
mostly known for our online stuff.
When it's funny because like you say e-com, and I immediately know what you're talking about as well from my business, from doing stuff. So it's kind of cool because you're talking the language and I'm actually understanding it. So it's kind of there's certain things that I'm actually getting. I fucking hate e-com, by the way. I'm gonna let you know that right now. I fucking hate e-com orders.
Oh yeah, it's awful. It's
They're
awful.
the biggest fucking nightmare in the entire world. Especially for jewelry. Like, I do jewelry, you don't do jewelry. But for jewelry, it's the biggest fucking nightmare in the entire fucking world. Like, I've literally sent, because every order, you probably have this as well when you're in your company. Like, there's certain restrictions for boxes, right? It has to be the size. Like, the smallest box is like this. There is nothing smaller than that.
Right.
So for us, the smallest size is a 12 by 12 by 6. So for everyone out, 12 inches by 12 inches by 6 inches high. That's the smallest box I'm allowed to use. Okay? So inside said box, I put 1 unit of jewelry in it. And I have to ship that out.
which could be like a pair of earrings, and that's a fucking foot big ass box for like a pair of earrings.
Yeah.
Like that kind of jewelry. Oh god.
Yeah. So
That's
imagine
so
that.
unnecessary.
Imagine
That's
one
so
pack of
unnecessary.
jewelry, one pack of earrings, in a 12 by 12 by 6 box, and then
Too
I gotta
much.
ship it.
That's a waste of materials too.
It is, and it's so dumb. And we've tried to talk to the people as well, and they're just like, "Nope, this is how we do it." And I'm just
That's
like,
so stupid.
but like what you were saying about though, like multi-billion-dollar company, and you think we'd have the most up-to-date software, it made me,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So one of the companies we work with runs a program that my dad was using when he was in the Air Force in England in the 90s. That's the program they use.
Our accounting software is from 2012. It's so manual. Like I calculate sales for over 50 venues manually.
Like a
I create an
little,
entry manually. I mean on Excel.
oh
I
Jesus.
do a lot of the shit. Granted, now this year we're doing a project in order to incorporate a new system. Like we're getting a newer software. It's the same software but a more updated version.
Okay.
Which is great. So it's not going to be this manual for long. But I've been at this company over 3 years,
Yeah, I mean
and
that's going to be a big change.
oh yeah, it's going to be freaking. Oh god, it's going to be so. At least I hope so. I'm speaking prematurely, but from hearing what they say it's going to be like career changing
Jesus.
in a sense. So, yeah, it's just accounting is just bullshit, especially in that company. God, it's so fucking manual.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can totally, I can get that because, like, for instance, we do, like I said, we're a third party,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a little. There's some things that like I can like kind of like I can kind of see and agree with, and there's other things that are drastically different,
Oh yeah.
right? Because like of
Mm-hmm.
course like you're doing it for your company, shipping it out to people. We're just shipping it to them. Like
Right, right.
we just gotta follow their rules. You guys make the rules. You just do whatever the fuck you want. But like,
Mhm.
yeah, there's some programs though that like it's all like, for instance, I have to with me being the shipping department, I work with FedEx and I work with UPS very closely.
Mhm.
I know my FedEx guy on first name basis. I have his phone number in my phone. We text every day,
Oh hell yeah.
right? Like it's one of those things. Um, the UPS website may be the biggest dumpster fire on the entire internet. I'm just gonna say it out loud. I have so when going through it, depending on when we ship to this one company, depending on the amount that we send them or the weight that we send them, it's either
Right.
they pay or we pay.
Uh-huh.
So most of the time they pay. So I
Uh-huh.
have to then go when I'm going in and filling in all the information, I need to change it from bill us to bill them.
Right.
So of course, on most websites you fill it in and you go, okay, there we go.
Mhm.
Like save our information.
Mhm.
For the last year and a half, I have pressed the save third party information button, and it will not save.
Oh, I love that. You love systems that don't work.
And I'm like, I've seen that. And I'm like, this is fucking UPS. This isn't podunk like Tom and Jerry's shipping. You know, like this is fucking UPS.
Oh yeah.
If I press save the fucking information, I expect you to save my goddamn information.
From talking from people cuz obviously this is my first real job like out of college.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to people who have much more experience, every company is going to have their freaking problems.
Oh yeah.
No company, unless I feel like unless you work for a smaller company, because I mean, when you work for a smaller company, obviously things are expected to be a lot better and more personable and more, I guess, easier in a sense because you're not dealing with the volume that obviously like the multi-million dollar companies have to deal with.
Yeah.
Um, it's insane. It's so stressful. And I think the larger you get with the company, the more stressful it can get as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Because like for instance, like so we're like $1 million, maybe $2 million company every year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you want to know what the shipping department is? Like what it consists of?
What?
So the shipping department consists of me.
Oh, love that.
Like that's
I
it.
love that.
I've had 2 assistants. Let me rephrase that. I've had 3 assistants. We fired all 3 of them.
Oh God.
Yeah. because each one of them drastically does like. So my first assistant
Uh-huh.
decided to try and change everything that I had done.
Oh yeah, hell no.
Yep.
Don't do that.
That didn't play out really well. Also, so we used to do, because we worked in the same office. I played my music
Uh-huh.
in the morning. She would play hers in the
Uh-huh.
afternoon, or vice
Uh-huh.
versa.
Right.
Really simple. She actually unplugged my music once.
Excuse me?
Yep. Um,
No.
I
No.
went. We were working. I had to go up front, so I went up front. Between me going up front and coming back, which was less than 5 minutes, she changed my music and put her music on. So I
Oh fuck
unplugged
that.
her music, put my music back on, and put her phone like next to her desk, which she took as like me assaulting her, and then like
Assaulting her?
and then she put her headphones in every single day from then on when she worked with me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Love that for you.
So that was my first assistant. Then I got a new one, and my other one was like a big fat guy, into video games. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna get along with this guy. He
Mm-hmm.
eventually started to like go from being like a work, like my assistant, to like trying to be my best friend.
Oh no, you can't do that.
Yeah, and he like pushed the boundaries a lot, but then he would complain about shit. Where it's
Yeah.
like, it's like, well, there's nothing for me to do, so you go home. Okay, so then he would go home for a week because there's nothing for him to do, and then he would complain to the
Uh-huh.
bosses because I have nothing for him to do.
Oh fuck that. That's rude.
Yeah, and this there was one time when my boss came out back and was like, "Look, this is what I want you to do," and he starts showing him what to do, and he goes, "So, like, what about this? Do I do that with this? What about this? How about this one? Do I do stuff with this?" And
No.
eventually, it turned to the point where my boss literally looks at me and goes, "Shut the fuck up, and I'll do it myself." Like that sort of
As you
thing.
should. Yeah.
And it was like, oh my god. So he lasted like 3 years,
Oh my god.
and then he got fired. Actually, he quit because I'm an asshole of a boss. Um,
Oh, of course you are.
yeah,
It's not his
and then
fault.
the most recent one actually lives down the hall from me in my apartment block. Um, she recently got let go because she started working. Within 3 months of working, she got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Then she didn't do anything at work while she was pregnant. Literally did nothing.
Yep.
Left, came back, continued to do nothing.
Uh-huh.
Like, so I would be working on my computer. She'd be sitting next to me on her phone. People would walk in, ask us questions. She would stay on her phone while I help people with their questions. And then, like, when people started complaining that she wasn't working, she would fucking lose her mind about,
Oh
I'm always
Jesus.
working. I'm doing this and that. So, like, now it's just me by myself.
Oh god, yeah. Like our accounting department started off with like maybe 20 people. And like I said, this is like a multi-billion dollar company.
Yeah.
Started off with like probably less than 20 people actually. I'm trying to think. And within the 3 years that I've worked there, we've probably tripled our staff.
Wow. I mean,
And
it
oh
makes
yeah.
sense. I mean, it makes sense, with me knowing where, you
Mm-hmm.
know, our
Yep.
whole company is like, let's see, there's two in that room, two accountants, the IT guy. There. There's seven of us.
Uh-huh.
That's a whole
But
company.
and the turnover rate is also bad.
Oh yeah,
I will say.
same here.
It's you can't they can't fucking keep anybody.
It's like mine is like there's certain like cliques. There's seven people.
Oh yeah.
Get this. There's seven fucking people, and there's cliques. Like, and they've like
Oh,
literally
of
like got
course.
people kicked out. Like it's.
Oh, that's bullshit.
One of the most recent
Yeah.
people, I went to school with her. She just got
Uh-huh.
booted out of the company because like one of the other people was threatened by her basically, and
Oh, fuck off.
yeah, I lost it. I was just like I was like I'm not gonna fucking keep working then.
It's like high school.
Oh yeah, well, it's one of those things. It's like there's an ongoing joke right now that me and the second accountant we're the next two to go.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I could see it. I don't know. See, and like I said, after graduate, this again goes along with like college. After graduating, and actually getting into to accounting, it's made me realize how much I don't think I enjoy it. You know? And
Yeah.
that's where like I wish I would have been able to take a year off to sort of find myself and what I enjoy. because like looking back now, I was probably the most happy when I was serving and
Yeah.
bartending because I enjoy talking to people and you know when you're serving, you're bartending, you tend to like be able to make people's days. Like depending on the type of service you give them, you could be the highlight of that person's day.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I love that. I thrive in that sort of environment, which is why I started streaming because within accounting, that's sort of the aspect that I'm missing in that like I don't really talk to people, and whenever I do talk to people, they don't enjoy my conversations because a lot of the times the conversations are fucking bad. Like we have to have a conversation because something bad happened.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so I went to streaming because I was like, well, for one, quarantine happened. So I got my PC back in March.
Mm.
Um, and I was like, well, might as well. I don't have anything else to do. And I think at this point in time, Dana had started getting into streaming again, and like I saw how much fun she was having, and I was like, I'll give it a try. Why not? Um, best decision I've made, I would say, because I've met so many amazing people. I've had so much more fun streaming and actually figuring out this kind of stuff that I've had at my job ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And it's given me that sort of that outlet that I needed before, or that, like I said, the aspect of accounting that, or not accounting, Jesus Christ, serving that I enjoyed so much before. It's now sort of back,
Hmm.
and I don't know.
I mean, I totally get it because, like, so the second assistant that I had that I was talking about, I told him
Mhm.
that he should do this because
Mhm.
he's one of those guys where, like, how like you have good days, you have bad days. This guy was one of those guys that he made every day had to be good,
Oh yeah.
and he's going to do whatever it takes to make it good.
Right.
He was over the top, larger than life, like that sort of like that's the character that this guy was. Like he literally was a
Right.
character. And I told
Right.
him multiple times, I was like, because he would come to work like maybe 9 to like noon, 9 to 2, go home and play video games until 2 in the morning,
Oh, might as well.
and then redo it all over again. So I told him, I was like, dude, because at this point I didn't really know what streaming was. So I was
Uh-huh.
telling him YouTube. I was like, look, I was like, if you just did YouTube stuff, I was like, you do a whole day of you do a whole day of streaming or a whole day of playing games, and you just fucking capture card that shit. I was like, after one day, you go what 3 days worth of footage.
Right.
I was like, it's easy then. At that point, then you can pick and choose what you want to upload. And he was like, yeah, I don't know. That sounds like a lot of work. Da 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 da. This that. And it was one of those things where like I never thought I was ever going to stream. Like the reason
Yeah.
why I streamed was because of my buddy Bubba Black Ops. He
Mhm.
told me at one point, he's like, look, you're playing video games. You have a fucking gaming laptop. Why don't you start streaming? And I was like, I can't fucking do that. No one's gonna watch me. You know,
Oh,
I'm just,
me.
I'm just an idiot. I'm just a big fat idiot. Like no one's gonna want to watch me. You know. Fast forward a year and a half later, and it's like I still don't understand why people watch me, but you all are here. I appreciate you, but
Right.
like, and it's one of those things where it's social without being social kind of thing. That's the best way I can put it to me.
No, I completely get it.
You
Like I
know.
said, the amount of time I've been streaming, the few months that I have been, I've made some great friends. I've had some good fucking times. I have already had made some like good memories
Hmm.
and shit. And I can only imagine what the future has to hold. And like I've never really had a hobby other than, like in high school doing softball.
Yeah.
That was my hobby. Like that's what I did. I'd never, you know, fucking gardened or what have you. I don't even know what
Garden.
the hell to say. That's a hobby, okay? Fucking what else could you do? I don't know. Knitting. I tried knitting, not knitting, whatever, crocheting,
Yeah.
didn't fucking stick. Like I've tried multiple other hobbies that just didn't fucking stick, and this is one that actually stuck. And it's
Was
fucking cool, and it's great to see, like, and I think a lot of things too, like, you have people come up and they're like, "You know what? You're a great streamer, and, like, you're my favorite streamer." Like, I think someone told me the other day, or maybe it was a few days ago, they're like, "I They're like, "I love you, and you're my favorite streamer. You're just always so positive, and you make my day, and blah 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 blah." And I wanted to cry.
Man, I don't know why you got to come over here and flex like that on me. I mean, I'm just, I just.
It just makes me cry. Okay, it makes me emotional. I'm trying to tell you how people, but
Trying to tell you how people think I'm awesome and you suck.
Oh no, I love watching you. I love watching you rage. It makes me happy.
Oh, thanks, appreciate it. I'm gonna die fucking early because of it. Yeah, no, it's one of those things like what you were just saying though about like because when I was coaching, I fucking loved coaching, but then certain things happened. I no longer was coaching, and I like deep dived into streaming for a bit, and then I was gonna quit, and then the stream really took off after I did the NFL draft, and like it's just been kind of going since then. But like for me, it's like I've been a lot happier streaming. And the kind of the cool thing as well is that like the more that I'm doing it and I'm playing stuff, and like my buddies, like I said, my buddies John, Jeff, and Sturge, the more that they're kind of like now getting involved in it, they're starting to learn certain things about it, and like they're starting to see how it works and how this and that works. Because like for instance, like they played this week. For everyone out there, this week on my YouTube channel, I have a 3-on-3 freestyle basketball highlight game. The three of us played.
Nice.
And it's one of those things where like they all like there was like no like of course there was the bullshit hesitation where they're just fucking with me, but like there was like almost no hesitation from like, yeah, sure, you need us to help you with that, sure, yeah, we're in, and it's just like they see like what I'm trying to do, and it's like they're willing to help if they can. It's like that's kind of been really cool for me. Plus, also like meeting all these fucking people. Like I never, like I said, I never. When I first started doing this, I was like, I had no cam. By the way, when I first started doing it, I had no cam. I was doing it straight off of my Xbox, and I didn't expect 50 people to follow me.
Nice.
I honestly thought it was going to be one of those things where like I did it for a couple months, and then I was just going to stop doing it. And fast forward now, I'm like over like 550 followers. I have at least 5 people. I feel like most of the time as an average viewer count. Like my YouTube channel starting to like explode a little bit here and there. It's crazy just what has happened. Since then.
Oh, dude, yeah. When I started, I didn't expect shit to happen. And then, now I have, what am I at now? 460?
God damn. There was one, and like I'm not like I hate to be a mean person. I don't, but I'm gonna be anyway. Well, like I saw someone followed me recently on Instagram. When people follow me on Instagram, I normally check out their account just to see what they're like. And I'm looking through, and it's like this person's also a streamer, and it's like in like May, like they got Twitch affiliate, and I was like, oh, that's cool, congratulations, and like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then like the following month, they're like, I have decided to become a full-time streamer.
No.
And I'm sitting there like, calm your fucking horses. What? Like it's been a month. Like like calm the fuck down. Like like my thing with all of this, and like I've always made sure that I do it the way that I want it, that I've always wanted to, ever since I started doing it. Like I don't have like at least I don't think I do. I don't have a sub goal. I don't have a this is how many subs I have. I don't ever say to people like, hey, make sure to use your Twitch Prime subs here.
Right.
Like no, like if you want to sub. If you don't, then okay, I don't fucking care.
You're just here to have fun. I mean, yeah, like I'm just here to have fun at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you make money, that's just a plus. That's
exactly.
Just a plus.
Like, do I appreciate it when that happens? Yes. Yeah, so like for instance, like I had a recent follower, Koala, come in, dropped 36 gifted subs on me. I lost my fucking mind. Like I've never had that. Like that's the most I've ever had. Like I've never seen anything like that on my channel. Like loved it, appreciated every second of it. Thank. Love it to death. But that's like I'm not begging for it. Like I'm not like asking for it. I'm not constantly. Like, and that's kind of like that's been my thing with it is that, like I'm just I don't ever want to turn into a follow for follow or a, hey, why aren't you donating? Hey, I have 9 viewers right now and half you guys aren't subbed to the channel. What the fuck? Why aren't you subbed to my channel? I never want to fucking turn into that because
Oh, right.
at the end of the day, do I want to make money doing this? Yeah, of course I do. Who the fuck wouldn't want to make money playing video games?
Right. Exactly.
If you say you don't want to do that, there's something wrong with you.
You're lying. I mean,
yeah,
you lying. You
you
lying at the end
lying.
of the day.
Yeah,
Don't lie. Why you always lying?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I just I don't know. There's times when I want to quit streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like I said, fucking. See, this is why I love my fucking podcast, is because it's fucking out of nowhere. We're just talking about streaming now. But there's been times when I want to quit simply just for the fact of the amount of time and effort I put in, and then I see growth, but it's not what I want it to be, sort of thing. And then I get in my own head, and then that sort of thing.
Right.
So I mean, it's one of those things. I constantly have to keep telling myself, that you're doing this to have fun. You're doing this because it's something I'm
It's something you
enjoying.
enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. My YouTube was never supposed to be what it is.
Really?
Yeah. So my YouTube, the first 2 series uploaded on my YouTube was Hugh and Blair Witch.
Uh-huh.
Hugh, because it was a fantastic fucking game. I loved the premise of it. I loved the story in it. I loved the basicness and the complexity of it. Right? Or contradicts myself there with saying basic and complexity, but that's how it was. And then Blair Witch was just such a mind fuck of a game. And it was one of the first big AAA title games that I've actually beaten. I wanted to share that with people. And that's kind of what my YouTube now has eventually turned into, where it's more of just I want to share this certain shit with people.
Right.
No one's ever heard of the fucking game Wengia.
Yeah, I've definitely never heard of that game.
Yeah, the first tree. I can just start listing off games that I've found randomly by looking that are really fucking cool games that I wanted to share with people.
Right.
And that's what my YouTube is, and it's one of those things. I've talked to my dad about it because my dad's asked me questions about it, and I'll show him the Game Grumps, for instance, and they're playing some random obscure game, and every video gets fucking 30,000 views, and my dad's kind of well, why doesn't that happen with you? And I was because they already have their community.
Right.
I was it
takes time,
and that's the big thing is it takes time, and it's one of those things where I'm not the youngest buck in the old let's play Twitch streaming world. I'm kind of one of the older boys, I feel, or middle of the pack boys. So it's one of those things where there are a lot of times more recently now where that kind of plays into my mind as well. It's how long am I going to do this?
I mean, as long as you're playing games, you might as well.
Well, and that's the thing is it's that thing of it's yeah, I'm 31. In my head, my life should already be drastically different than it already is.
31's still young. Don't let anybody lie to you. Fuck that.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Let's put it like
that. Dude, I thought it's fine. I thought I'd be married with a kid at fucking 24. So.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I thought the same thing. So I mean, it's fucking however many years later. I don't know. I think the last time I went on a date was fucking 10 years ago.
A-okay.
Yeah, it's just
everyone's life path is different, and you can't compare yourself to others. That's gonna be your demise. If you end up comparing your life path to others, you're only gonna cause a downward spiral for yourself. Because everyone's on a different timeline. Just because someone who's fucking 19 years old is already what have you. Someone 19 years old is already Twitch famous doesn't mean that you don't have the opportunity at 31 to also be Twitch famous. It just means they were on a different path than you are. They're on a different timeline.
Yeah, it just means that their name is Booga and they won the Fortnite World Championship and now their life is completely changed.
this may be true.
That's one of my favorite ones, is the fact that like a 16-year-old won the Fortnite World Cup, won like $3 million or whatever the fuck it was, and it was one of those things where like immediately like he was going like on like major like celebrity like talk shows, and they're like, so what did you do this summer? And he's like, I just won $1 million playing a video game, no big deal.
Love that.
It's like
Jealous of that.
It's like cool.
I
like,
wish.
Yeah, right. It's it's like way to rub it in, guy. Fucking But so that's about the end of this. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
I think we've gone through a lot. I think we've gone through even more than what we thought we were going to go through.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. I would wholeheartedly agree with that. But thank you, Em, though, for coming on the podcast. I do appreciate it.
Anytime. I'm glad you asked me. I had fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Like I'm trying to get a well-rounded group of people to get on.
Oh yeah.
And then eventually, I'm going to try and reach out to people that really shouldn't be on my podcast, but I'm going to try and get them on anyway.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
One of them, like one of the ones I'd love to get on, I've talked about it with a few of my buddies, is one of my old college coaches.
Ooh.
The problem is that because he is still working at the college, there may have to be some like. I think I can get him on without there being any other like side stuff, but there might be some side stuff that needs to happen. Because, the last thing you want is, suddenly there being a video of one of your coaches online, F-bomb this, fuck that, F this, that,
Right.
Screw this person. So, like, I might have to, there might be some stuff like that has to happen. But, yeah, no, that's future. Right now, though, I appreciate you being on. Thank you. I will, in the description, I will leave a link to, M's Insta, Twitter, Twitch.
You're so sweet.
So everybody out there, if you guys want to go follow her and go see all the crazy shit that she's doing, you can.
You so sweet.
I try. But that wraps this up. So depending on where you are when you watch this, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Stay out of trouble. Stay safe, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.